So as usual,
Oh!
I have to admit that I'm extremely excited for Splatoon Raiders. It's honestly the main reason I'm getting a Switch 2. Obviously, I'm going to play other games and things like that, but Raiders is the game that really pushed me towards buying the console, the same way that Splatoon 2 got me to buy a Switch. There is one thing I don't fully understand. Why haven't we seen mouse controls? Now, I don't even want to say that I'm concerned or disappointed because the game isn't out yet. We haven't seen anything or just even everything, and this could easily be something that they address later. Like, it could just be something added in a few days, or you never know, a year later. But I do find it interesting. When Nintendo introduced the Switch 2, one of the bigger features was the fact that the Joy-Con could be used like a mouse. They spent a lot of time showing this off as one of the new ways that you could play games on the system. So if Nintendo wants people to understand why this feature matters, what better game is there than Splatoon? I already know what some Splatoon players are saying, just use gyro. And yes, I understand that. That's a very good argument. I'm not saying this as someone who hates gyro. I've been playing Splatoon for years, and learning gyro was honestly one of the best parts of the experience. I'm lying. It took me a little bit actually to get used to it, and I just forced myself to do it. I think motion controls are one of the most fundamental parts of what makes Splatoon feel like Splatoon. I'm not saying mouse controls should replace gyro. I'm just saying, why not give people the option, especially in Raiders? This isn't a competitive multiplayer game. It's a PvE story-based game. That makes it one of the safest places Nintendo could experiment with a new control method. You don't have to worry as much about competitive balance. You don't have to worry about mouse players having an advantage over gyro players or stick players that exist. It's just the player against the game. So why not test it there? Now, maybe the developers didn't have enough time. Maybe they couldn't figure out how to integrate the controls properly. Maybe the game was already too far into development before mouse mode became a major focus. All of that's possible. But I still think it's interesting because Nintendo has never really been afraid to push new controller ideas into games before. During the Wii era, I played Twilight Princess. I was forced to play Twilight Princess with the Wii remote, and I had to use motion controls to play the game. Like, had to. There was no other option outside of that. I'm actually baffled that this company did this and mouse controls isn't being used. I don't know. Like, Nintendo wanted you to use the Wii remote, so that was what you were going to use. I'm not saying they have to force it in this, but there were plenty of games during that era where motion controls were attached to things whether people wanted them or not. So now we have a feature that actually makes sense for a shooter just in general, and Nintendo appears to be holding back. That is the part that I find kind of strange. You would have stick controls, motion controls, and mouse mode. 3 different options. And maybe having 3 controller options would make development a little more complicated, but gaming has always had different ways to play. PC players switch between mouse and keyboards and controllers, even like hand mouses that you see Fortnite people use, and just having different sensitivity settings, button layouts, and different parts of their setup to make a game feel comfortable for some. So having another option in Splatoon wouldn't be that unusual. It could also help bring in players who usually play shooters on PC. Somebody might look at Raiders and say, I already play with a mouse, maybe I'll give this a try. And maybe after playing the game, they decide to try gyro too. That might be a little bit hopeful, but maybe they realize gyro isn't that bad. That might be a stretch, but it could happen. And this is also why I don't know if something like Drag X Drive was the best game to show off the feature. Outside of it being a different concept, it doesn't feel like the strongest possible showcase for why Joy-Con mouse controls matter. But Splatoon is one of Nintendo's biggest modern franchises. It's a shooter. It has aiming. It already has players who care a lot about controls, sensitivity, movement, and responsiveness. That feels like the perfect place to prove that this feature actually works. And again, I'm not saying mouse controls would be better than gyro. I probably wouldn't even use them over gyro. But Nintendo created this new control feature, and Splatoon Raiders feels like one of the most natural places to show people why it exists. Now, there is another possible explanation. Maybe Nintendo's more focused on improving gyro controls for the Switch 2. Now, if you're gonna say I'm coping, give me a second. The more I think about it, that could be a big part of the decision. Maybe the motion controls are going to be more responsive. Maybe there will be less input delay or fewer latency issues. Maybe Nintendo wants to make sure that gyro feels better than it ever has before. Splatoon 2 had some noticeable issues with responsiveness, and for a lot of longtime players, the original Splatoon is still considered the gold standard for motion controls. The gamepad, I know that some of you guys hate it, but I do not care. I absolutely enjoyed the gamepad for motion controls in Splatoon, and I miss that so much. So maybe Nintendo's main goal is to recreate that feeling or improve on it. And if that's the case, I can understand why mouse mode might not be the priority. But even then, I still think Raiders would have been a great place to at least try it. That's really all this is. I'm not mad about it. I'm not saying the game is going to be disappointing because it doesn't have mouse controls. I'm still extremely excited for Raiders. It's still the reason I'm getting a Switch 2. I just think it would be a missed opportunity to introduce one of the biggest features of the console and then not use it in one of the games where it makes the most sense. Well, to me. But we also don't know everything yet. The day we all open up Raiders, mouse controls might be sitting right there in the option menu. Maybe Nintendo just didn't want to make a big deal about it, or maybe it gets added later. But let me know what you think. Should Splatoon Raiders support Joy-Con mouse controls? Would you actually use them, or would you stick with gyro or sticks? And as I've said before, I'm going to be live, all right? I'm going to be playing the game. I'm going to be live at 9 a.m. EST. I've been telling you guys this for a while. We're up on Saturday, so if you guys can, please make sure to drop through. I'm gonna catch you guys later. Have an amazing day. Peace out.